So with OCD recovery, we have to really learn to not trust everything our mind is generating. So our body and our thinking has been shaped by evolution to be overreactive, like a smoke detector that's set to be too reactive. You don't want the smoke detector to be right on the edge and potentially missing stuff. You want the smoke detector to be overreactive so that you're more cautious. We want to assume every sound in the forest is a saber-toothed tiger because you don't want to be caught out by it. And it doesn't cost us anything to be vigilant apart from energy, but it doesn't cost us anything, in that moment. But if we're too relaxed, we get eaten. So our ancestors were the ones that were hyper vigilant and threat focused. And our tribes probably had a balance of some people being more kind of approach orientated and less threat focused, and some being very threat focused. And you can imagine how that combination together is going to work on pushing out and gathering resources and hunting and gathering, but also being cautious. And so often, those of us struggling with OCD would have been the members of the tribe that were more threat focused and like the alarm system. So our brains are set to be like that. So in our modern world, we can't trust everything our thoughts and feelings are telling us, especially when the mind turns in on itself and starts to look for threats internally and become overreactive about our mind putting together associations and running predictions of the world and worrying about our core fears and things we're afraid of. Our mind gets overly threat detecting of that. And I think we all know there are lots of times in life where you don't trust your brain about other topics. Your mind will say, don't go to the party, and you go to the party and have the best night of your life. Or your brain says, don't go to that job interview, it's going to be too scary, and you go and you get the job. Or don't go on the date, and you do, and your emotional system's telling you, no, this is really dangerous, and run away and avoid and do something else, and yet you don't listen to it, and you go and do these big experiences. So I think we all know from our experience that we can't trust our thoughts and feelings all the time. They're just information, and what we can trust is our actual experience of our life, our sensory experience of our life. We can trust our values and goals. We can trust the experience we've had through time that comes without doubt. So you have to be careful here with real event OCD and false memory OCD. So we're not talking doubtful stuff where we're doing lots of compulsions, but our common sense of our life, as inference-based CBT would say, the common sense of self that is like, I like bananas, and I like this sport, and I like this music, and I like these people. The stuff that comes with out a ton of doubt and is our experience of ourself. We can trust our social self, so how we are in connection with other people. Now, of course, OCD can get into that and get you worrying about moral scrupulosity and are you saying the wrong thing and all of that. But again, we're talking about things you can trust that don't come with loads of doubt and compulsion. OCD can get into any of these components of self that the self can that it could doubt. So it could doubt values, goals, it can doubt your experience. I had times where I was doubting crossing a road or driving a car, that I could see things and judge stuff, and you can doubt everything. So we're talking about here those signals that come without doubt about who we are and our life choices and the path we want to follow. And if there's doubt, as Reed Wilson says, assume that is noise, not signal. So if you're in doubt about what's your true self, there's some noise there. You've got to assume that that's noise, and take one step after another in front of you in this present moment. Start taking action. Get out of the excessive analysis about who you are and what you want, and just start doing things. Start doing the things you used to do before you were doubting your sense of self, and trust that. And then as you start to take action, you sidestep some of this pathological doubt that is getting you confused about yourself and your experience, and you start to get a sense of trust from your brain again. So a big part of OCD recovery is knowing that our thoughts and our emotions and our body sensations and our impulses, they're all just information. And what we want to do is to start to trust our experience, our values, goals, sense of self, and take action. Take action is the antidote to all this doubt and confusion.